Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Ordinary Buffet Copper Peptides 1%, which can help with anti-aging. It also firms the skin and gives you a healthier looking skin. And this is also a water-based serum, which is also important if you want to include it in your skincare routine, as you're going to apply it before your oils and creams. And this is also a serum that can be used daily in the morning and evening. Now, I just wanted to also remind you that before you're going to apply it to your face, it's also highly recommended to do a proper patch test on your upper forearm area before you're going to apply it to your face, just in case an irritation may happen. And so I'm also going to give you now a quick demonstration on how you can do the patch test. Of course, it would take me much longer, but then the video also will take much longer. And I still want to give you the right information, the right steps on how you can use the product so that you're also able to also use it at home. Now for the patch test, I'm going to use the upper forearm area so that we also can see if an irritation happens or not. And so before you're going to apply it to your skin, it's also important that you're going to wash the area with water and soap. Now please make sure to at least wash the area for 30 seconds. I just wanted to give you the direction so that you also know how you can do the proper patch test. And after you have washed the area, you now can also take a towel and pat the skin dry. So, and now we're also ready to do the patch test with the Buffet Copper Peptides. Now it's important that you're going to use a small amount so that it's also still able to absorb into the skin, so that it also won't bother you while doing the patch test for 24 hours. Now I recommend that since you can't get less than a drop, that you're going to use one drop onto your fingertip. And then from that, you're going to use another finger and just take a small amount of it and place it on the freshly washed area. So, and after you have also placed your patch test, it's important that you're going to leave it on the skin for 24 hours. Now, while leaving it on the skin for those 24 hours, and by the time it also has already soaked into the skin, make sure that you're also going to keep this area dry. Please do not wash it before the 24 hours have passed, so that you also can see while doing the patch test if an irritation occurs, if you can see some redness, blistering or other irritation, which also may be very informative before you're going to apply it on your face. And so I'm now just going to rinse it off with water. So after the 24 hours have passed, you're going to rinse it with water. There's no need to use a soap or other cleanser for it, just water, that's enough. And then again, pat the skin dry. So, if your patch test went well and you can't see an irritation, that's great, because then you can also move on and start using it on your face. If you can't see an irritation, please stop using it, and I do not recommend using it on your face as well. Now I'm also going to start off with the application, and I'm also going to show you step by step how you can use it, what you have to do before and after, etc. Now I'm also going to exchange my towel again to a fresh one, as well as a cloth. And I'm going to start off with step number 1, which is washing the face with a gentle cleanser. Now, I recommend using a cleanser that's suitable for your skin type, as well as doesn't include any AHA or BHA, such as glycolic acid, lactic acid or salicylic acid. Please make sure that it doesn't contain any hydroxy acids when also using Buffet Copper Peptides. And if you're using a different cleanser than I do, then also please make sure to also read the directions on how you should use it, if you have to use your cleanser on dry or on wet skin, and also how you should remove it, so that you also have a freshly washed face and a cleaned face before moving on to the next product which you're going to leave on the skin. Now with this one, I have to wet my face, use a small amount, massage it onto the skin, and then rinse it with water. So, and after you have massaged your cleanser into the skin, you now can also rinse it off with water. In case your cleanser has also to be rinsed off with water, I also recommend using a clean washcloth in between, which you're going to wet, that also can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better. So, and after you have washed your face, you rinse it off, then take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So, and now you're ready to also immediately move on to the next product application. There's no need to wait in between. Now I want to mention a few steps in between, just in case you also want to use it in your routine. And this is also if you also now want to include a toner. Now if you have a toner at home that you really like to use, then make sure and also go ahead and use this one as your second step after you have cleansed your face, and also apply it with a fresh cotton pad. Now what's really important that when using also a toner, make sure that it doesn't include any hydroxy acids, again similar to the cleanser, no pure forms of vitamin C, as well as strong antioxidants. So make sure that you have a cleanser that's calming, refreshing and soothing for the skin, just to make sure that you can also use Buffet Copper Peptides in the correct way. If you don't have a toner, then it's also fine to skip this step, and then you can also immediately move on to Buffet Copper Peptides. And then you can also gently swipe it across your face with a cotton pad. So, and after you also want to include your toner and you're done with the application, you can also immediately move on to now the application of the Ordinary Buffet Copper Peptides. Now, since this is also a water-based serum, I recommend using between 1 to 3 drops for the entire face and neck area, which you then are also going to pat into the skin. Of course, if you still feel the need to use a few drops more, that's totally fine, just go ahead. But make sure that you find the right balance for your skin and also for the entire face and neck area, so that it feels right. It shouldn't feel too much nor too less. So this is also where you have to experiment. For me, 2 drops are enough. Now the way that you're also going to apply to your face is totally up to you. I like to take a few drops in the palm of my hand, then rub them together and then gently press it onto the skin. If you prefer to use your fingertips for the application, or you want to use directly a few drops onto your face, that's totally fine. See what works the best for you and also what feels the best for you. There's no right or wrong on how you're going to apply the Buffet Copper Peptides. So, and after you have applied it on your face, it can already soak in while you're patting it into the skin, which is great, so that you also can see if it's the right amount or not. If you have to apply it for a much longer time, then it's probably too much, since the skin can only absorb a certain amount of product. So please make sure to also find the right balance for yourself. Now, after you have also applied Buffet Copper Peptides, you can stop right here. That's basically it. If you're using it in the morning, please don't forget using also a good sunscreen when also being exposed to the sun, so that you also can protect the skin and not getting sunburned. But if you're staying inside, that's already it. This could also be your PM routine, this could be your AM routine. There's no right and wrong, since you can use it in the morning and evening. Now, in case you also want to include it in your skincare routine, then it's also important that you also know the general rule of thumb, which always starts off basically with the lightest texture to the heaviest texture. So you're going to start off with your water-based serums, then you're moving on to any anhydrous solutions or oil formulations, and then you're going to finish it off with any creams and suspensions. And this is basically the rule that you can also follow to also know when you also should include Buffet Copper Peptides. Now, if you like to, you now also could go ahead and use an oil after Buffet Copper Peptides, or for example also your moisturizer if you feel the need. That's totally fine. If you do not feel the need, you want to keep it simple and straightforward, that's totally fine. Just don't forget your sunscreen when being exposed to the sun. Now there's one more thing that I want to talk about, and this is also the conflicts of the Ordinary Buffet Copper Peptides. And here you can also see the list and products from the Ordinary which shouldn't be used in the same routine or mixed with Buffet Copper Peptides. There are quite a lot. This is also where I would recommend to keep your routine simple when also using Buffet Copper Peptides, since it does already so much for the skin that it's not necessary to include so much more into it. But of course you can, just make sure that you're not going to use any of those products that I just shared with you. And this is already basically it. It's very straightforward, very simple on how you can also use Ordinary Buffet Copper Peptides, and also do hope that you enjoyed this little tutorial, that I could answer your questions on how you should use it. And yeah, if you like this video, please also don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!